Hi everyone and welcome to OLX Group Remote Job Fair. I'm Anna, I'm part of Landing.Jobs team and I will be your host for today. As we wait for the ones that are going to join us, I hope you are well seated and ready for the next hour. I bet everyone of you know OLX Group, but for those of you who don't know yet, OLX is the world's fastest growing network of trading platforms and they are committed to shape the future of trade to unlock and the hidden value in everything. Today, we have here with us Inês Quaresma, talent acquisition specialist, and Juan Almeida, senior software engineer from OLX Group. Um, everyone, so if you have any questions throughout the section that you'd like to ask Inês or Bram, please feel free to do so in the Ask a Question button down here on the crowdcast, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. And if during the presentation, please feel free to engage, leave some comments in the chat, and we'll also keep an eye on them to discuss in the end. For the ones that are still joining us, my name is Anna. We are about to start OLX presentation to know more about their company. So Inês and Juan, thank you so much for being here with us today. The stage is now yours.
Yeah, thank you a lot, Anna. Thank you a lot. So, hello everyone. Let's start maybe with a brief introduction about OLX because Anna already introduced us. I'm Inês from Talent Acquisition and Juan is part of one of our tech teams, like Anna already shared. And I don't want to be arrogant, but probably everyone here already heard something about OLX and our business focus. But maybe let me give a quick introduction just to be sure that everyone knows what is our focus. And let me ask a question to start, and maybe you can type on the chat your answer. And let me know who here has more stuff than they probably need in your homes, storage. Probably everyone here have a lot of stuff that don't need. Am I right? No? Let me see if I have any answers on the chat. Okay. Let me give some examples. Basically, for example, an old book, a old table, a old phone, I don't know. And probably I'm going to assume that you have this type of stuff with you. And do you know and think that maybe your old book can be that someone else's new book? Your old camera, it can help someone else create new memories. And maybe your last apartment that you continue to own can be a new home for a recent person in your city. So yeah, I think that I assume that sometimes you have a lot of stuff to trade, but we don't know exactly what is the value of these things. And basically, OLX helps everyone to unlock the hidden value on those things. Like Anna already told, we are one of the world's fastest growing networks of trading platforms, operating nowadays in more than 30 countries around the world. And basically, we help people buy and sell cars, find housing, get jobs, buy and sell household goods, and much more. And we have two types of different platforms, our horizontal platforms like OLX that have many product categories in one geography, and our vertical platforms focus on one product category, usually autos or real estate. And in a nutshell and in a very simple way, I think that's it. And probably now we will be like, okay, Inês, but we came here to learn more about the company's environment and professional challenges and not just about the business focus and the usual pitch, because we can read about that on the internet and you are totally right. So I think that's better than giving you a pitch here about our culture is to hear more about it in the first person. And that's why I invited Juan to join me here. In fact, I really believe that this type of initiative only makes sense when shared with the tech teams. And so, Juan, are you ready to give us your perspective?
Yeah, hello Ines and hello everyone. Yes, just to give you an intro who I am, my name is Juan Almeida. I work in OLX since for 3 years already. I live in Berlin, but I am originally from Argentina. And well, at OLX, like we have a tech hub here in Berlin, but we have other offices in Portugal, in Poland, in India, and we work closely together. So just to to give you an intro about myself, yes, I've been working in this industry for around 12 years already, and mostly as a backend engineer. And well, my day-to-day in OLX is what do you think I should mention? Like my role? Would you like me to describe the team, Ines?
Yeah.
How?
I will not ask you to pitch about what you do at OLX
Yes.
in 5 minutes. It's not fair and it will be reductive. But just for a start, can you tell us more about 3 specific points, like your responsibilities as a senior software engineer at OLX, type of team structure, and the tech stack that you use as a start? And after that, I will have more and more questions to ask.
Excellent, excellent. So yeah, basically in the day-to-day, as a senior software engineer, I take care of many things. So it's not only coding, like we work in, and also I would talk about the perspective that I have. Like you may know, in every company, all the teams are different, and my team is also quite particular. So, and I am happy about it. So basically, to have an idea, that my team, we are like 4 backend engineers. We have 2 people in Poland working remote, a person in Spain, and me. And then we have an engineering manager and we have a product manager. We try to be quite an autonomous team. And as you can see, we are like 4 engineers and we kind of take care of almost everything that comes. So, and we have different roles. We are 2 seniors, 1 mid-level and a junior. And yes, and there are a lot of things because we have this culture of you build it, you run it. So it's not only coding a program. We think about testing strategy, monitoring, observability of the app, how the infrastructure will work, how this will deploy. So you have like several things to do. In fact, the last week I spent like improving our pipelines and making it uh, more functional and more efficient, because I realized that there were some things that were not working, so things could be parallelized. So there is an ample spectrum of what you can do in the day-to-day, and these are like mostly my main responsibility: to define, justify something, fight for investing more time in technical depth in the day-to-day, and also collaborate with coworkers. And yes, and pair. We do a lot of pair programming in the day-to-day. This is regarding the team structure, and also to add, to give you an idea of how this translates in the real like code. We do mainly Kotlin in the team, but in the day-to-day, we also have some automatization with Python, and we have some scripts. We have to trigger some events or fix some customer issues, and we also have some TypeScript, some projects. So we don't have only one single language or a one silver bullet. We do a bit of everything, and also like most of our infrastructure is in AWS. So yes, we work in the cloud, and we have Kubernetes, like all these technologies that normally appear on in the interview.
Okay, perfect. Like I already told you, we have different focuses and a lot of platforms, and you are part of a specific team in a specific area of functionality. Maybe can you describe in more detail the main project you have working on, the business focus, how this impacts the final product, for example? I don't know, up to you.
Yeah. To give you an idea, well, we also have to have an idea of what our product is. It's not only the technical part, and it's like the part that not the engineers don't like so much, I think. But
the relationship with product is very important too.
Yeah, it's a day-to-day relationship that yes, normally maybe most of us have this experience. If you work as an engineer, you normally want to do more things about technical debt or improving things. And on the other side, you have the voice of the product, and then you have like kind of the planning for the next week or 2 weeks. And we discuss about we should take this. No, I think this is a priority. So there is always this kind of conflict of what is priority, and we need to agree and negotiate. Okay, in these weeks, we will commit to do this part of the product and this part of the technical task. And the product specifically, what we are working is OLX historically has been a platform more C2C, customer to customer, where if you want to sell something, I don't know, if you want to sell this phone, I have a used phone, with Rick here, and I
Really
need
nice
to.
show, by the way.
Oh, I love it. I love it, Rick and Morty. So yeah,
So
but this
sorry, I interrupt you.
yeah, this phone will get old at some moment, and maybe I want to change it, and I don't want to throw it away. So I would post it in the platform, and then someone would try to buy it, and then should meet in person, and this person would pay in cash, and I would give it to the person. Unfortunately, due to the quarantine, like this was not valid anymore, and many people, well, people couldn't meet, or and then after the quarantine, maybe there are many people that don't want to meet again anymore. So we are going towards a more transactional approach in some markets, and I am working specifically in Poland in a product that is called Pay and Ship. So if I want to sell this phone now, I post it in OLX, and a buyer will buy it. They will pay to OLX. I am working in the payments part where we will keep this money from the buyer. Then the seller will deliver this product to the buyer. The buyer will get it, confirm that it got it, and then we would release the money to the seller. And basically, what I am working on is the payments team where we do manage all the transaction, which is called paying. The money comes in, refund if the item never arrives, and payout to the seller. This is basically the product.
Yeah, and you talked about one interesting point that our business is constantly changing. It's very dynamic because we rely on the users, and for example, the pandemic really changed the perception around e-commerce too. And you see the transformation of your focus here too, I assume.
Yes, and you also see it like in this area we are noticing a lot because it's growing. And this year we hired like 100 people. Like at some moment we had to ask to stop hiring because we need
No,
to.
I don't want that.
I say, give us some time to order. So, but yes, and we need a team normally in the day-to-day life. In my experience, you are always understaffed and you have tons of work and you are demanded. And here we need 3 engineers. We have the 3 engineers. So we need like 2 front-enders. You have the front-enders. So it's whatever you need, you are enabled and you are given to. So there is still a lot work, but there is enough people to have OKRs or goals and make them realistic.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think so.
yeah. Yeah, and of course, this is a big product, and we need to have a lot of people to focus on a specific part of the product to deliver the best experience. And yes, it's really important to partner with talent acquisition teams to continue to build our teams, of course. But we have here a culture that we like to maintain and maintain our teams as possible, because of course if the business is already changing a lot, we need to have people really experienced on this type of business inside of our team. So it makes totally sense to continue to hire, but also to have people that continue and keep with us through the time.
Yes.
Okay. We've been talking about the present, but let's rewind a little bit and let me know one specific thing. If you could turn back the time and talk to Juan 2 years ago when he joined the OLX group, what would you tell him?
And 2 years ago, first
Yeah.
of all, I would tell myself, Juan, find a bigger apartment because there is a pandemic coming and you will spend a lot of time there. So, first of all, first advice. And then, well, regarding the work, what I found is, well, it's more like it's a difference of Argentinian culture and European culture. Maybe I would have told myself like to be a bit more aware of biases and towards yes, different, because here is more international and it's difficult to. I had a mindset in Argentina and then I realized here that many people could get offended of things that
Yeah.
for me were normal. So I would tell myself, Juan, be more aware of this because many people can get offended. And now I realize, I look retrospectively, and a big part of my work is like personal work, human relationship and persuasion and work. And being aware of this, you can do a much more effective work. I think.
Yeah. I think that makes totally sense, and you change your location. But you think that at OLX do you find an environment that is easier to adapt to or not? And if not, you can share the truth here.
Well, in these 3 years, I think it changed a lot, and depending on also the team, like depending on how you are, like on my opinion, on my perspective, like when I joined 3 years ago, like we were all on site, and it was much easier because you would come to the office on Friday. We would go for a beer, and it was easier to integrate within the team. You had a conflict with something, and you would go for a coffee, and then you
Yeah,
would get to an agreement. And now, if you are new, like in general, I like that we have this blended work, so we can choose to work full remote or work on site. And you have the possibility. I come to the office like every day, and I meet people, and
yeah,
I am, and this is where I need to energize myself. But as a new person, if you are more uh, a person that needs human contact, and to have a feeling of the team is more difficult if you have the whole team remote. So depending on the team, I think, and also depending on how you are. In our team, we are full remote, but it's working well. We try to meet from time to time to have a I don't know, an idea who are we working with, and keep it human.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I think that the best thing, of course, we are different people and we have different perspectives. I'm with you on this odd topic right now, the model of work. I really like to have the balanced way, sometimes at the office and some other days at home. But we have people that wants to work full remote, and it's totally fair. And I think that the best thing here at OLX is that we have the option to choose, and this is really awesome, and really great. Like you said, your team is full remote, but now you are at the office because you like this approach and you want to continue to have this approach. And even if you don't have this contact with your team because the other folks on your team wants to be full remote, you can connect with other people that have the same perspective towards this topic
Yes.
from other teams. So I think it's really
Yes,
awesome.
you can even discuss some technical topics, general things about OLX, and more important, there are still beers in the office, and you can play some ping pong. So this is
Big
also
important
very.
topic, beers in the office.
So yes, you
Yeah,
compensate it, and it still works. It's worth it to travel to here for me to commute to the office every day. So
yeah. Really nice, really nice. You talked about a topic that is talk about technical stuff and technical related. Um, do you feel that do you have the space to challenge the status quo, to propose a new technology? This already happens to you in the past here at OLX?
of course. And at the beginning, well, I was newer, and I had to make myself. Yes, they had to know me, because you cannot come like from one day to the other and say I want to change everything. Well, maybe if you are the CTO, could be, but as an engineer, and I could come, and always your voice is listened. You always have to discuss. It's not that you take your individual decision and then everyone has to follow. You need to persuade other people. And I already had some yes, to give you some concrete examples. Most of people who work either in Java or Kotlin, there is a framework which is a kind of default. It's called Spring. I have to admit, I hate Spring. I propose already to create services with others, and we already did some experimentation with Vertex. We have a few services in Vertex, and also we are experimenting now with a framework called HTTP4K, which it's great as well. And also we have the creator of this framework working in the company, so it's like, what's
Yeah,
better than to have the people that really work, like are a few people who are like really, they created this framework, and they are like maintaining, and they brought it to the company, and it also works great. It's not that I am promoting this, but there are alternatives to Spring, and you can propose, and if you get to convince the people like to leave the status quo and do new things, you can do it. And even like, to give you another example, a bigger one, I wanted to improve our testing pyramid, and I proposed my manager to have some quick training with a trainer from Argentina that I found that I loved. I learned from him TDD, but in the freeway in Argentina, they would not pay a training. So I was watching his free YouTube videos. But once we are here, I talked to my manager if we could have the budget for this. And my manager met the person and said, this would be a great idea for all pay and ship. And then I talked to the director and he said, yeah, this looks great. And I created a training, and we had like a few weeks ago, like a 24 hours training, 20 people. And also it changed our way to see like how the product works, how we test things. It was not about TD like write the test before. It was more like how you see the code, how you think a whole system, how do you think the testability, how do you think about the quality of the test, and also how do you think of the design and when do you describe the design. So it was a mind blowing for us and was a mind changing as well. And I had the possibility to do this, like basically talking, and if you want to do things, like you are empowered to do them. At least this is my experience. So if you don't want to do, like you can do your day-to-day work, but if you want to go forward, you will have some support if you persuade the people that this is important.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and I think that this is part of your role as a senior, because we have different levels. As a senior, of course, you are more focused on this type of topics. And another topic is the engagement towards building the teams. And currently, you are also an interviewer, so you partner a lot with the awesome talent acquisition team.
Yeah.
And you are chased by my team to fill the card with the feedback. Probably. But forgetting about that point for now, let me know, how do you see this task and partnership with talent acquisition? Do you like this part of the job? Do you like to interview people and evaluate them?
I would repeat something that I say from time to time to the recruiters. For me, the most important thing before getting a person is to evaluate that the person is really motivated and want to do this job. And so far, I have previous experiences where people would apply to the companies just because of money or anything, and not because they are really motivated to work. And so far here, I am really happy. Everyone who I interviewed was really willing to work for OLX, so I didn't have to. Normally, sometimes you start an interview and say, "Oh no, this will be long, long interview." But so far, all my interviews have been really entertaining because people are really motivated to work, and I am taking in OLX we have like the talent acquisition, like the first interview for the recruiter. You have an engineering manager that would assess if you are a good match for the team and everything. Then we have a coding interview, and my interview is the system design. And this looks like you sit in front of me, and well, not in front of me now, but in the camera, and I would ask you, okay, we need to design this system. How would you do it? And it's all open for the candidate, and then the candidate would talk about, okay, I would do this because I like this technology, or I would choose to do this and to do that. Will you describe a problem? And I started asking, why did you take this decision? And do you know any other ways to do it? Like just open conversation. And what I find amazing of this is like, it's not kind of, I've been taking also coding interviews, and normally you have A, B, C, and you follow serious steps and all the interviews look the same. Here, like a kind of every candidate comes with a different solutions, and at the end, I think I learn more than than in the day-to-day work, because I never thought about implementing this on this way. So I think it's a great experience, and it keeps being entertaining. And well, and then it requires some discipline to fill the scorecards. But after the system, you have already a big idea of. You take a screenshot of the final system, and you already have a kind of a scorecard with this.
And you already talked about motivation, and you explained to us how the process looks like. But apart from the motivation, what do you consider most as an evaluator when you are interviewing? What are the things that if people show to have this, you are like, okay, probably this will be a good fit to OLX?
Well, I don't know if I am biased, but when I like of people is when they propose some solution, but they are already aware that this has a pros and a con. That is not a silver bullet because every technical decision has its trades off. So that you are aware and you don't go blindly with a solution, and you are open to listen and debate about things. I love debating in not only in the interviews but also in my day-to-day life and challenge ideas. And I like to be challenged back. And yeah, there were some candidates that even interviewed me after that, and, and they made me think. So I really like when people are really passionate of what they do. They like to discuss about these topics and to have a like it's not that I am asking and they respond like the basic just to fulfill, like when they are eager to counterattack and everything. So these kind of interviews are normally my favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And take into account that you are talking about people that wants to join at the OLX world, and I don't know, but I hope to have some people here that wants to do this too. And in your perspective, what is the difference between being a developer here at OLX or any other company? And of course, you have a view about other companies, not every company that we have on the market, but your perspective is just your perspective, of course.
Well, I worked like in these 12 years, I've been working 3 in OLX and the rest of the time mostly in Argentina, and also I worked in the USA. And I think the like the highest point, at least in OLX, is the work-life balance. So because we have a diversity, we have younger people like 20s, 20, early 20s, and then we have people with families and everything, and everyone is included. That people, my manager has a family, and he needs to take a days off for the kid or other people as well, and they don't feel the pressure that they need to be there. So your life is always your priority, and this is more sustainable in the long term.
Yeah.
It happens a lot that in many companies, it happened to me in the USA and also in some companies in Argentina, that you are very excited, you start working, but after some moment you get burned out and you get tired and frustrated for things that don't change, and also you don't have much time to rest. So I think we always have an infinite amount of work. We have challenges that are not easy to reach, goals that we need to stretch to get to the goals, but at the same time OLX prioritizes your health, and for me this is a good way to have a long term, to plan in long term with people. So you have um, health, then you have a budget for trainings. If you need to learn something, if you want to do something, you will be empowered to do that. And even if you don't want to do it on your own, OLX can ask you, would you like to learn more about AI? Would you like to learn more about this? And there are courses that are already provided by the company to generate more awareness about new trends like AI, for example. So I find it great. And also in the company, what I saw compared to other companies is there is an organic growth. So most of the engineering managers in Pay and Ship started as engineers here, and they had a career plan, and they could change the career paths instead of going so much in technical, go to manager and then come back. So my current manager was my peer before, and my previous manager is my peer now. So he doesn't want to be engineering manager anymore. He came back as a developer engineer. So you have this possibility to change and to grow in the company. And I've been here 3 years, but my manager has been here for 4 or close to 5. And another coworker, he has been here for more than 4 years as well, as a mid-level senior engineering manager, and now senior again. So
yeah. So this shows something, of course. And we are talking about the nice stuff, the good stuff that you want to highlight about the OLX. But of course, any company is perfect. Anything is perfect in the real world. And if you could change something, what you would you change?
Oof.
Tough question. Sorry, I surprised you with this one.
Yeah. Well, for example, one thing that I am struggling now is in this interview process now, like when I join the pool, there was a leader of the pool, and these were more freestyle, and every interviewer would ask, for example, whatever they thought it was convenient. It was a system design interview, but some people would ask about Scrum, other people would ask about things that are relating to coding that were addressed before. And now we are trying to change this and improve, and also since it's a big company and we are all working like remote,
Yeah.
it takes some time to drive for change. No, you need agreement, and yes, and things are not so expeditive as you would like, especially now that we have this pandemic and we are all distributed. It's even more difficult to set a Zoom meeting and to solve an issue. So things that I think if we were all in the office would be solved in a week, maybe they take months. So I think my biggest challenge is how to change this and reduce the amount of work that you require to drive for a change. Yeah, this is my main challenge now.
Yeah, and I think that it's part of being a big company. We are a big company. We are not an early startup, so it makes totally sense to have more thought about changes. We are hoping to change things, but of course, taking the account being packed that we have when we change one thing, makes sense to have a more thought around anything that you are considering to change. So I'm trying to control our time because we talk a lot. And I don't know, maybe let's jump to the questions. I don't know, and if this makes sense right now.
Hello, hi. Yes, if you are finished with your presentation, yes, we can jump to the questions. You have two questions here. I think they are more for Juan here. So the first one is from Miguel Vieira, and he would like to know if OLX is already under the microservice methodology.
Well, yes, of course. Like as every company, there is always in a company some hidden monolith. So, well, there are like depending on the area, there was basically there is a monolith on all the Europe area, and this has been it's a few years of work. So basically, we are still divided. Luckily, in these 3 years, I never had to touch the monolith, but there are teams that are needed to decompress this. So we are taking parts of the monolith, creating a microservice that represents. So we are communicating normally via events, some asynchronous communication, for example, SNSQS, and you kind of represent the same. You have two things in parallel, and then you decompress the service. So we are still in a process for years of decompressing the monolith into small services, and the idea is to have a lot of microservices. So yes, luckily I never touch it, but yes, there are some teams who are still taking this out. But yes, we go towards microservices, and then in microservices you can talk a lot about things. There are some teams that have one repo per microservices. There are other teams that do mono repo. So depends on your team how you want to implement it. Yes, we are quite autonomous in general to define your own infrastructure and how to implement this. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, I think so. Thank you, Juan. So right now we have also a question regarding tech stack from Fernando Calcavantnet that says, what about Java or C#? Maybe you can give us an overview of the tech stack that you usually use during your work.
Yeah, and well, in my day to day, I used like Java. I never taught Java here in OLX. We switched to Kotlin, and also new people that we get, many of them don't have any experience on Kotlin, and they adapt quickly. I think it's like I am happy. I did Java for 9 years just before, and when I joined the OLX, I started doing Kotlin, and I don't want to touch Java again. So you need to still read some Java because some libraries are implemented in Java, but we aim to have in my team Kotlin, TypeScript, and Python. And then there are teams that are doing mainly Go. I also interview because I take the system design interview, and it's like language agnostic. So I only discuss about the system design. So I know that there are some positions for Go, but C#, I don't know if there is anyone use it. I never heard about this, and at least in our tech radar is not there. So I don't think C Sharp is here, but Java, there should be something. There is always something in Java.
Thank you, Juan. So maybe Ines, this question can be for you. It's from Ross, and he asks, what positions are open to people who are not multilingual and only have English as their language?
So only speak English, not a problem at all, because it's the first language. I'm Portuguese. Juan is from Argentina, and you are talking in English. And on a daily basis, you are interacting with people all over the world in different hubs, of course. Here in Europe, we have 3 main hubs, one in Berlin, another one in Lisbon, and another one in Poznan. And of course, we have different accents, different cultures, but everyday life is in English, so no problem at all. Regarding the positions, to be aware of the total landscape of roles in OLX, the best thing is to go to our careers webpage, and here I check OLX Group's open positions. You can click there to see. And for the pay and ship project that Juan is part of, we have roles such as senior PM, iOS engineer, and front end. And I can also highlight that one of the main priorities roles right now is head of product for Motors, of engineering for Motors. Motors is based in Portugal, but we have remote opportunities too. Lead engineers, mobile folks, we really need to onboard mobile folks too. But yeah, check the career page, and you can check the total landscape of our roles there. And I can share my LinkedIn here on the chat, and if you have more doubts, you can connect with me. More than happy to do that.
And I would like to add something on the language. Yeah, English is the language that we use in the company, and I am living in Berlin, and many co-workers from different countries, and I know people that have been living in Berlin for several years and they don't speak any German, and because you normally need only English in your day-to-day life. So yeah, English is the language that you need only.
Yeah, it's like the universal language. I prefer Portuguese, it's more beautiful, but probably I'm biased on that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So thank you both. We don't have any more questions. Maybe we are reaching to the end of our session. Thank you so much, Ines and Juan, and thank you for everyone that joined us today and participated in this session with the questions and also with the engagement in the chat. If you like today's session, OLX Group is currently recruiting, as Ines already said, and to know more about their jobs, please check the button here below. They have all their open positions there. And please don't forget to join us and meet OLX Group tomorrow at the Future Works Tech Conference. They will be there, so please feel free to come by and have a talk with Ines.
Yeah. So, Ines or Samuel, other engineer that will be there with me. Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you so much to everyone. I hope to see you there. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Bye-bye,
evening.
everyone.